of every day of your life. There are times, of course, when your choices are circumscribed somewhat by your circumstance. So, for instance, if you just got dumped by a boy, you might think about him a lot, and it might be hard not to think about him. If you have a tremendous headache, it can be hard not to think about your headache. But the vast majority of moments of our lives, we choose what to think about. And we have to make that choice wisely. Every moment that you spend choosing to think about, for instance, the relative health of the romantic relationships of the cast of Jersey Shore, is a moment that you chose to think about them. That's a moment that you gave to Snooki, that you spent. And I'm not criticizing either you or Snooki, I'm just trying to make the observation. You spent that moment on Snooki, and when I say the word spent, I mean it literally, because consciousness is a gift that is temporary, and you will spend it, and it will go away, and you will be dead. Don't like, aw, that's not, it shouldn't be a surprise to you. For anyone in this room to whom it is news that you're going to die, I don't know how you made it this long. I am amazed you got from your house to the theater. So consciousness is a gift, and it is a temporary gift, and you will spend it. And the problem that we face as humans with this temporary gift of ours, this ability to observe the universe, to observe each other, to look upon ourselves, to use language, all of that stuff that we get to use, but in using we spend, is how we're going to spend it. How are we going to orient our lives? What are our priorities going to be? And one of the big ways that we figure this out is by looking at the great stories of heroism, of what constitutes a good life. So my grandfather just died a few weeks ago. He was 92 years old, and when I was at his funeral, over and over again, people said to me, "Your grandfather lived a good, long, full life," which is true. But he also got to live to be 92, which is an advantage that not all of us will enjoy. Hopefully, we all will, but the truth is that not all of us will, and that's been the case for all of human history. The question at the center of this book is whether it's possible to live a good and full life if you don't live to be 92. And we have an answer to that question that goes back for millennia, which is that we have all of these archetypes of heroic lives. But they almost always involve war or politics or family strife, somehow a life that is lived out on a big stage, right? So I'm about to spoil the Odyssey for some of you. But it's still good even if you know what happens. But I have to give you a sense, to make my point, I have to give you a vague sense of the plot of the Odyssey, which is that there's this dude, he goes and he does some warring, and he's really good at it, does a really good job, and then he has to come home, but it takes a while. It takes 40 years.
That's a good summary, right?
Homer can't hear you, but I'm sure he appreciates that. There's all this stuff that happens, and it takes forever to get home. And he finally gets home, and at his house, his wife has welcomed in many men who are trying to woo her, and also there are some young ladies, although in lieu of their behavior, one uses the term loosely. And the correct response when you come home and you find a bunch of people in your house who were not invited is, hey, I was away for 20 years.